I live in America. I've been living here for 7 years. I live in New York City. And I don't know if any of you have been to Ireland before. I know there's a few Irish people here. But Ireland is a very small town, gossipy type of country. Everybody talks behind your back. Everybody knows your business. So I was like, I'm getting out of this country. And then I came to America where people say things to your face. I was like, I do not like this. I used to smoke cigarettes, but Jesus, people are very vocal on hating cigarettes. Oh my God, especially in New York City. They'll give you side eye while you're having a cigarette while they're on acid. I had this young woman, she was like 14. She could have been more than 14. And she left her life to come into my life, a stranger, to get mad at me for smoking cigarettes. She goes, oh my God, don't you know smoking kills? I was like, yeah, you should start. And it's annoying because it was my only vice. I don't drink a lot. I don't smoke weed. What's San Jose like? Do you guys smoke weed? Clap. Okay. God, America loves weed. All my friends, weed pushers, they'll be like, smoke it, go on, go on, go on. I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want to be relaxed. I only smoked it once. I smoked it in Amsterdam. I went to Amsterdam with a boyfriend from Ireland. And when we got there, he was like, we have to smoke it. It's legal. What's the worst that could happen? But I got so high, and he was like, are you having fun? And I go, I don't want to be with you anymore. So I haven't done it since. I'm not a fan of drugs. The only other drug I've ever done was ecstasy. I know I didn't do it willingly. It was put in my drink, so I was spiked. So don't ever spike people. It was the best night of my life, but I like living in America. I will say, as an immigrant, there's so many cultural differences you have to get over. Like, as a foreigner, I really hate tipping. But as a bartender, I really hate foreigners. And when I came over, they had to teach me all the cocktails. The first one they taught me was the Long Island iced tea. And I was like, this is insane. And then I met people from Long Island, and I was like, this makes sense. Being an immigrant is fun as well because people tend to be vocal when they don't like immigrants, you know. I get a lot of messages sometimes on the internet, and the most recent one was, go back to your country, you ugly donkey. I was like, excuse you, I'm a beautiful horse. So rude. And identity is a big thing here as well. I've never really had to think about my identity too much in Ireland. You guys are going to think I'm really dumb, but I did not know I was Caucasian until I moved here. It just never came up. How I found out was I went up to the man with the visa papers behind the desk, and I went up to him and I pointed at my papers because I was filling out the application form, and I said, underneath race, there's no box for white. And he was like, you're Caucasian, you dumb bitch. Welcome to our country. It is strange. Or Karens, never heard of Karen before. And then I heard it thrown around here a bit in America, but it kind of just went over my head. I didn't understand it. And then I posted a TikTok. It was about where the clit is. You know, just a fun, silly, turns out very informative video, and some men got really mad at me, and one guy goes, shut up, Karen, but I wrote back, actually my name is Katie, so I don't even know who won that argument. But there's no Karens in Ireland, you know. If you were to ask your server for the manager in Ireland, they'd tell you to go fuck yourself. But I do know that America's like the best reality show for the rest of the world, you know? We're always watching, and we're kind of like laughing or learning, and Ireland really wanted to be able to call women Karens, but they couldn't because the name doesn't exist. So now when they want to annoy a white woman in Ireland, they just say, shut up, Sharon. I feel like dating as well. Dating's been a big cultural difference for me in America. this is little bit embarrassing, but I really wanted to come over and have casual sex. And don't shame me, I left my country so I could do that. Okay, I was like, I'm gonna go to America and be a whore. My dad is the superintendent of like our whole county, so I had to leave the country to be a slut. It was really hard though, because I just kept getting in relationships. I'm just not built for it. And so my friend, she suggested, now I'm 31, just so you guys know, that I should date younger men. She was like, you know, that way you won't romanticize a relationship, you can really just have fun. So I went on to Hinge, and for anyone who doesn't know what Hinge is, it's a dating app. I set the age range on it to 25 or lower, like a pervert. Like a man. And it was fun. There was definitely, you know, an age gap with men who are only 5 years younger than me, because one guy messaged me and he goes, I'm so excited to meet you IRL, but I genuinely just thought that was a cute nickname for Ireland. And I wrote back, you too, USA. I was so embarrassing when he had to explain that to me. We met up, and I don't know what it's like in San Jose, but in New York City, men don't want to pay for your dinner. They're like, you're independent. And I'm like, I am not. But with this guy being younger than me, I was kind of nervous. Would he be like extra woke and not pick up the bill? So I just put down my credit card when the bill came, but in my head I was like, please don't take it, please don't take it. And he looked at me and he was like, hey babe, this is on me. And I was like, thank God, because this card is a fake. And then we went to go home together. We're on the train, and men in New York City, like, it's all DJs, actors, comedians, and so all very narcissistic. And he obviously wanted to set it up to be sure that it was just a one-night stand. He said, I want to let you know I have commitment issues. I was like, yeah, I fucking hope so. And he goes, I'm serious, Katie, because, you know, I wouldn't want to hurt you. Who is telling men to say these things? He said that to my face. I'm a 31-year-old immigrant. And for you guys, I haven't spoken to my own mother in 13 years. And he's like, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt you. I was like, I'd like to see you fucking try. But then I was like, oh, I hate his personality. Maybe this is the key to casual sex. So I brought him home anyway, and it was just a bit of a nightmare, because it's just, we're from two different worlds, so maybe this is more normal for you guys, but clothes on, kissing. He started to slap my arse. I was like, what are you doing? I'm not a disobedient child. I am your elder. I truly hate when men slap your arse, and as a side note, because they always do it during doggy style, which, right. Someone said over here, what's wrong with that? I'll tell you what's wrong with that. Firstly, it's my favourite sexual position as a woman, because it's the one position where we don't have to make a sexy face. You know, we can really enjoy ourselves. We're just like, And so when a guy starts slapping me, it really takes me out of it, because I know I made a joke earlier saying I'm a horse, but I'm not really a fucking horse. And the only logical reasoning to me of men slapping us is because you guys want us to go faster. We don't control the speed in that position. Slap yourselves. Some comedians' goals are to get on TV, get Netflix. My goals are for couples to go home, and for when they're having doggy style sex, for the guy to start slapping himself. Back to this young guy anyway, and Martin made a reference to it earlier. It's not Martin, but when this young fella, he reached up and he choked me, which is because he was talking about choking a girl. I didn't want you to get all confused. But I'd never even heard of that before, so I didn't know that choking is like a fun American pastime. I genuinely thought he was trying to murder me. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'll give you back the money for the drinks. And he was like, no, girls like this. And I was like, I fucking like to breathe, you freaks. I've had a very bad dating history for sure. I dated a Russian guy for a while. I know, but that was before this. I mean, at the time when I was dating him, I thought the anti-Russian sentiment here, I was like, oh, it's a bit mean. And now I'm like, okay, you guys are doing it to yourselves. But it's, even with any of the stuff that's going on, it just is a terrifying accent. Like mine, if I get angry at you, you just laugh because it's musical, okay? He would pay for everything, and I said it to him one day, I was like, you don't need to pay for everything. He goes, don't worry, one day you'll pay. With my life? Oh my God. We would fight all the time, and this is like a very old reference, but I want to tell you guys, we'd fight all the time. And one time we were fighting on the phone, and I put him on loudspeaker, so he's shouting in his Russian accent, I'm shouting back in my Irish accent, so to anybody walking by, it just sounded like we were role-playing Taken. And there were so many reasons why I shouldn't have dated him. He checked my pulse once to see if I was lying. I genuinely just thought it was a Russian thing, so I was like, whatever. And then I called my cousin, and she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Break up with him right now. And I was like, I don't want to. He's really hot. And she was like, Katie, so was Ted Bundy. I was like, bitch, I would have dated him too. I look like Ted's wife. I do. I know. When I tell the stories about dating this guy, it's really more a reflection of me. You know, where you're like, the more you tell people, the more you see the horror on their face. You're like, what the fuck was I doing? Because not only did he do that, he also told me he didn't believe in space. Now, I don't mean personal. I mean the thing you walk outside and look up and see with your eyes. The only reason you can say that space doesn't exist is if you're blind. And it's like, when he told me that, I laughed because I thought it was a joke. And he got so mad at me. He was like, I don't laugh at your beliefs. And I was like, yeah, because I believe in space. It's not like that was an option under Hinge, you know, under religion, Catholic, Muslim, space. And I didn't break up with him then either. I know. He was really hot. My dad called me vain, actually. He called me vain. But I'll tell you, when I broke up with him, He lived in New Jersey. He's an immigrant who chose to live in New Jersey, which should have been a huge red flag, okay? So I broke up with him because we were getting the bus back from New Jersey. I sneezed. I got allergies since I moved to this country. I said that, and he goes, you don't have allergies. I go, I do. And he goes, you don't. And I was like, I'm letting you believe there's no space. Give me my fucking allergies. So I broke it off with him, and he called me every name under the sun. He texted me, he was like, you bitch, you cunt, oh, you're a terrible person. You know, all the things that make us want to date you again. And then eventually he's texted me multiple times, and my friends were like, block him, which would be my advice to everybody else in that situation. But you know when it's yourself, you just want to see how bad it gets. And so eventually he texted me a month after there'd been silence, and he goes, hey Katie, have you done your taxes? And I was like, I am blocking this crazy fucker. I have a boyfriend now. He is American, and he's absolutely lovely. He's such a sweetheart. I met his father recently, and the first thing his father asked me was, how did I get my visa? I just looked at his son, and I was like, I'm working on it.